Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Last Friday of January. I feel like it was just yesterday we were saying it was the first show of the new year, and here we are 1 month into it. Still rocking, still kicking. We'll have one more show in January, but it's last Friday show of January. So might almost well kick it off with a bang. Next Friday will be in February.
Well, we got Friday and we got Monday left in January, and both days present us with a bunch of great basketball matchups that are very meaningful, either for, you would think, tournament draw. Well, at least this Friday matchup is influential for tournament draw, but Friday and Monday matchups are definitely influential for a lot of conferences as the season starts to wind down, especially, well, at least I should say in the girls' side of things for a lot of conferences. Boys
Monday's
going
gonna
to
be-
tournament.
I don't want to skip over today's show because we have a lot that we're going to talk about today, but Monday's going to be a really fun show.
Yeah, Monday will be a fun show. There's a lot of matchups that on the girls' side of things for conferences that mean a lot. We'll have tournament matchups figured out. Boys, I mean, tournament draw is still just as important right now, too, for these. They're not until the following week. So, I mean, this is still a big week for boys coming up.
And we'll also just confirmed about a half an hour ago, we're going to have Stephen Mara on the show on Monday because he today just announced that he committed to Ashland for football. So we're going to talk to him about
on
that.
the big dog list for
if it's a stroke of luck and he wins Big Dog of the Valley too, then we'll have two interviews with one stone, be able to talk to him about that too.
That's what I was saying, dude, is a big dog candidate for wrestling, a winner in football. I mean, no wonder you got committed somewhere. Look at him.
He would have come on today, but there's this thing going on today and tomorrow called the EOWL. I don't know if you've heard of it.
It's kind of a big thing.
It's kind of a big deal, so he's kind of busy.
We'll have that to talk about next week, too. Wednesday with Gary Altizer, too. That'll be exciting to talk about. That EOWL is one of the biggest tournaments that go on in northeastern Ohio, too. We just had the Hefner happen just last week at Fitch, and we have all kinds of big ones that have gone down the stretch here for a lot of wrestling in the area. So I'm excited to talk about that one with Gary to see how everything kind of turns out with that one.
On today's show, we're going to have recaps. We're going to have complete our district breakdown. We left yesterday without talking about Division 4 on the girls' side. So we're going to look at the teams that are in Division 4, kind of break down all the teams and some of the names that you should know outside of the YSN coverage area before the tournaments come out on Monday. The brackets, I should say.
Yeah,
And
that'll be
previews of tonight's games and picks. As always, you can pick along with us on Twitter. The handle is at Running Point YSN. Head over there and let us know who you think will win tonight's matchups.
Division 4.
A lot of ones I think we're going to split on time.
We'll probably split on a decent amount.
I need to make up a lot of ground.
I think you're down by 12 now, maybe 13. I thought you picked Valley.
We'll look at the tape, but I'm pretty sure
But it's a dozen right now if that's not the case. But just looking at overall, too, before we get into those Division 4 previews, big thing to note with Division 4, and the most exciting thing is that is the division where not that records mean almost nothing in Division 1 because everyone's a powerhouse, but Division 4 is probably one of the more wide open ones to where anyone can make a run. We can't forget that's where we saw the Lady Blue Devils of McDonald take this all the way to state, I believe, out of Division 4 last year.
Yeah, but they were a 1 seed, so it's
They
not like
were a 1 seed. They were a
it's
great
not anybody's story. I thought you were going to go for like a story like a 10 seed going something.
But no. But I'm just saying we've seen our coverage area get there from Division 4. But looking too at these Division 4 teams, I mean, so much of the MVAC is Division 4 or Division 3. All the Division 4 teams in there are so closely huddled together on the girls' side. All the Division 4 teams in the EOAC seem to be pretty closely huddled together on that side. So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to do a little bit of a deeper dive into it.
All right, let's start off with the recaps of last night before we get to all that. And in Poland, it was senior night, and the Bulldogs shined on senior night 63-52. They went over a very scrappy and very improved Girard team. Last time these two teams played, 64-28. This time, 63-52. So Poland scores almost the same amount of points, but Girard, their offense looked a lot better. Now, granted, CH Triplet was on the floor, and she was not on the floor last time they played Poland. And that's a big step up for Girard when they get her on the floor. She had a game-high 19. So impressive to watch. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see Girard this year, but CH Triplet is just an athlete. And when you let her run, bad things are going to happen for your defense. And she had 19. Poland was led by Connie Kugris and Katie McDonald with 13. Player of the game last night, though, went to Ava Nicoludas, who came off the bench and gave a big spark for Poland with 10 points, most of those coming in the first half. Poland only led 27-21 at halftime, so they needed every minute of points they could get in that first half. And Nicoludas came off, hit 2 threes in the first half, and helped Poland kind of right the ship a little bit, give their team time to catch their breath, and then Poland won the third quarter 19-9, and it was all Bulldogs after that point. Let's hear from Coach Blanche and Ava Nicoludas in the post-game press conferences, unless you had something to say real quick.
No, I was just going to say you could see that that's why the NE8 is so much fun and why we say second and third time around when you see opponents, never count them out. And, of course, Triplet on the court, I should say, on the floor. Makes all the difference, too. She spreads things out. She's able to hit some nail-down shots, but she opens up a lot of offense, too. Poland does a great job adjusting. I haven't gotten a chance to see Girard like you asked, but I've seen – the only two teams I've seen in the NE8 are Struthers and Poland, and all I know is NE8 is filled with great defenses. You got to come with a great defense to play. But one thing's for sure, if you want to win that NE8, you need to come with a consistent offense that could score 50 to 60 plus. Girard was able to do that, but Poland just a little bit too much, it looks like. Lady Bulldogs, another big win.
Definitely would have to do some research to confirm, but that might be the highest total score of an NE8 game this year because these NE8 teams, like you said, it's a good point. They all play really good defense, and it seems like every score is kind of in that 45 to 35 range. And this one, 63-52, might be the biggest combined score out of an NE8 game this year.
One of the higher scores I've seen against Poland's defense. Not many teams score 50 plus on them, too. So, I mean, credit to Girard. They're doing something right.
That's two teams in a row that have gotten to the 50 mark. So maybe something to look at for Poland. Maybe their defense is struggling a little bit. I don't know.
Right before the tournament, that's the best time to try to figure out and shore up all the kinks in your armor right now. So best time to find it is right now and not in the tournament.
They have a great assistant coach. His name's Chris Martin, and he's a defensive genius, and Nick Blanche calls him their defensive coordinator. So I'm sure he'll be watching film and trying to get that Bulldog defense back to letting just 30, 35 points per and get that 50 stuff out of there.
Yeah, it's a great team over there in Poland. I'm not even surprised that it's a different name that you got to interview for player of the game. It seems like it's someone different every night.
Yeah, let's go to Nick Blanche, and then we'll hear from Ava Nicoludas both after the game. Poland once again wins 63-52 over Girard. Anthony Hartwig here with winning head coach Nick Blanche. Poland gets the win over Girard tonight. Coach, in the first half, Girard was really pushing you hard. It was 6 points at halftime. But you guys won the third quarter by 10 and then ran away with this game. What were some of the adjustments you made in the locker room and some of the things that you saw from your team tonight?
It came down to confidence, in my opinion. Last week was a tough week for us. The Struthers game hit a little adversity, and I just felt that we weren't our sharpest. And I thought that was a turning point for our season. And then, of course, losing Monday's game to the weather and not being able to play. We had to sit on that sour feeling, that negative feeling for another few days. So I was very interested to see how we came out. And tonight was senior night. So again, everything's on balloons and, celebrations and things of that sort. So how are we going to be able to wheel it back in and focus on the main point of the night? And I thought we did a really good job of that. But our kids play extremely hard. And my big thing was just keep believing in yourself. I've never gotten upset with a kid for taking a shot that was in their range or they should have taken it, or trying to be aggressive defensively. Like, the effort I love. But when they get down on themselves, that's hard for me to watch. And that's basically some of the things that we talked about. Like, you're trying to make the right decision. You're playing as hard as you can. There's nothing wrong with that. Go on to the next play and let's make something happen. And I thought as the game went on, we did a really nice job of that, and we just kept fighting, but our shots just weren't falling at times, and we got good looks. But that's part of the game, and you got to keep fighting, and our kids just did a nice job of not getting discouraged, and they did a great job battling for 4 quarters.
Obviously, Gerard's a hard team that's going to fight hard, fought you all night. But do you think the first half was also a little bit of culmination of maybe doing a little bit too much or trying to do too much after the loss and trying to kind of bounce back from that a little bit too hard, the turnovers and things like that?
It could have been. I mean, I tried to stay level about it. I mean, I wanted the seniors to enjoy their night as well. But in our conference, there's not a lot of teams, in my opinion. Okay, maybe some don't have great records, but they fight. They've got coaches that are pushing them to do the right thing. And like I said, I don't expect anybody to roll over and play dead for us. The first time we played them, they didn't have Triplet, and that's a huge spark for them, and I'm sure she did really well. I haven't looked at the stats or anything yet, but adds a whole nother dimension to their team. So in fairness to them, she wasn't there for several games in the beginning part of the season. One of them was against us. So having to adjust to her, and then obviously they're well coached and they're going to do good things. And I'm telling you that they're going to be a team to reckon with in the postseason as well. So we did a really nice job hanging in there, and maybe we were trying to press a little bit too much in the first half mentally, trying to fix everything at once. It could be. I don't know. That's a question that I'd have to have with them. But nonetheless, they tried hard and they tried to make the right things happen. So I'm very proud of them and thankful for that.
In the first half, you had some big contributions from your bench, especially from Ava Nicoludas. Came out and got 10 points off the bench for you tonight. What was it about tonight that you kind of felt confident? And we don't see her too often in the varsity level, but tonight you put her in the first quarter and she came in right off the bench, made a 3 almost as soon as she got the game. What did you see from her? And as a coach of her, it obviously puts in the time behind the scenes. What did that mean to you that she got that moment and she was able to have the night that she was able to have?
Well, first of all, I have the utmost respect for Ava Nicoludas. She's been very patient. She's a kid who is a good basketball player, and she's one of our bench players that come off the bench and probably could start at other schools in the area. She does a really nice job. She understands the game. She backs down to nobody. So defensively, she'll go up against anybody. Offensively, she'll attack the hoop or she'll bury the 3. But she's had to be patient waiting for her turn. And I have all the confidence in the world when she goes on the floor to do the right thing. And tonight was just her night. She's gone in there and done other good things for us. It's just maybe she didn't have as many points. But tonight, when she went in there watching her hit the 3s, then attack and do the floaters and make those shots, I have no doubt in my mind that she can do that. But again, we have no superstars on this team. So it's just who's up next. Like, you pass to her, and she's making a few, and she's making a few. And then we probably had tonight, if I were to guess, probably 9, 10, maybe 11 kids in the scoring column, 3 or 4 kids in double digits. I mean, that's how widespread we are, how diverse we are. And tonight was just Ava's night to be that shining star off the bench. But again, I am not surprised in the least. She works hard. She never gives us a problem. She comes here every single day with a great attitude. And like I said, somewhere else, she may have starting role. She may have way more minutes, but I doubt she would have the team atmosphere and the success that we have here. And I think that she really appreciates that and understands that. And that's what makes us special here. We have selfless kids that want to be here for the greater good of the program. And she leads by example. I'm very proud of her.
It was senior night tonight. I know we've talked a lot about your seniors in the many post-game interviews and coaches' corners that we've done. Take a minute to reflect on this night and on what these seniors meant to you this year and what they've meant to you for the last 4 years in this program.
It's been tremendous. I mean, from where we started with these kids this year, they're in a much bigger role this year. Like we look at them as those are our leaders. And that's a huge role for those kids in this sport. I mean, maybe some other sports come more natural to some of them. I don't know. But all I do know is from where we started to where we're at now, those kids are night and day leaders. And they are doing so many different things to make this team a positive, have a lot of success, have a positive atmosphere. And you look at their careers here, they've had 3 years in this program, and they've been in the district championship all 3 years, 2 of which were trips to the regionals already. They've had 3 conference championships, 3 sectional championships. To say that they've had success is a huge understatement. And they've been a part of all of that. And now it's their turn to lead the pack and hopefully get some titles under the year 2022. And hopefully we do that, but I can't say enough good things about those kids. We've been lucky to have them, and I'm going to greatly miss them when they are gone here. Hopefully we can make it another few weeks here and keep them in a uniform as long as we can. But it's been a special group. They've had a successful career all the way up from their youth leagues all the way up to us. So I'm not surprised at the success they've had. But, again, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'd be willing to bet they're over about 85, 90 wins in their career, which, again, how many kids get to experience a team like that in just 4 years? And they've been contributors over the years. It isn't like they've sat the bench and waited till their senior year to play. So big part of it, and they've set a great example for these kids that are coming up underneath their wings. Very proud of them.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the win. We'll see you back here on Wednesday for your next home game against South Range.
Thank you for the coverage.
Anthony Hartwig here with tonight's player of the game, Ava Nicoludas, coming off the bench with 10 points tonight for the Poland Bulldogs. Big win over Girard. Ava, how's this feel to do, the performance you had tonight, especially on senior night?
It definitely feels good, but it was really all my team, just like going in there and playing for them.
This had to be a big moment for you, an exciting moment for you. I know your teammates are excited that you're getting this interview.
Yeah.
What's this season kind of been like for you?
It's definitely been good. I really just play for my teammates, play with them. I don't know, it's exciting. I get a few minutes, I'm in there. I like it.
You didn't just get 10 points, you had 10 important points, especially in the first half. Girard was really keeping it close. What were the adjustments in halftime to come out and have the third quarter you guys did?
Our main adjustment was just like keeping it tighter on defense and like working as one together as a team.
I know with the family atmosphere this team has, senior nights have to be super emotional.
Yeah.
How did you guys kind of put that away and get ready for a basketball game?
We just we came off from a loss. We knew we had to get our head in the game and just bounce back.
What does it mean for you and all the underclassmen to get a win for these seniors?
We just know they're our best leaders. We love them, our best friends. We want to play for them.
All right, before we let you go, how do you use this one for momentum heading forward?
It was just a big win. We're playing together. We want to get as far as we can for the seniors so they can keep playing.
All right, Ava, thank you so much. Congratulations on player of the game.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Running Point. That was Ava Nicoludas and Nick Blanche after Poland's win over Girard, 63-52. They get the victory, and they stay at the top of the NE8. We'll continue our recaps here, and Ty, we'll just move right to the game that you were at as well, as Waterloo kind of dominated their way to a 47-13 victory over Sebring. The Trojans, I mean, they were in a tough spot anyway because Waterloo is so good, but they're also playing their third game in 3 days, which is tough to ask anybody, no matter how much talent you got.
You could tell they're gassed, but in the same breath, too, I mean, I know McDonald's a different team, but Waterloo also held McDonald to, I believe, 13 earlier in the season as well. So this is a good team that has been able to consistently hold great offenses to their season minimal. They play a good defense. Thing with Sebring that they do pretty well, and I will add this to them. They can move the ball around a little bit. They can get their open looks. It's just kind of connecting those open looks. They have a lot of young girls on this team. Kiera Weekly's one of those freshmen that is starting, and let me tell you, watching girls like Ayla Ray start as a freshman and going into her sophomore year now, we saw all the improvement that occurred over that 1 year too. and how big it is to start as a freshman. So Sebring's got a couple of instances like that. Blake Thomas is only a sophomore, and I can tell you she's going to get better. She's a very, very good rebounder down low, just needs to get a little bit more confidence in her scoring. I think Sebring will be fine for years to come. Big thing, though, to note with Waterloo in this one, and one of the most impressive runs I've seen too. Sebring scores the first bucket, goes up 2-0. Waterloo, I think, rattles off a 23-0 run over the span of 2 quarters to make it 23-2. And then at that point, game's over. At that point, Waterloo holds the lead. They don't let go of it from that point. They just keep the pressure on.
That sounds exactly like what happened to Sebring against Jackson Milton, except that instead of them scoring the first bucket, I mean, it was a shutout for the first 20 points of the game. It was 20-0 Jackson Milton before Sebring.
And like you say, when you play 3 games in 3 days, these girls are tired. I'm sure they're a little bit gassed. They weren't even they didn't take as many practice shots. You could just tell that the energy wasn't as there. And you know what? That's understandable. When snow days kind of pigeonhole you into taking these many games in that many days, that's a big thing. One thing I wanted to note too, and what was impressive to me for Waterloo being able to win this one, they did not have a good shooting night at the Arc at all. One of the worst 3-point shooting nights I've seen from the Lady Vikings, but still finding ways to win, whether that be by defense, whether that be by high scoring on offense. I got my little puppy over here squeaking his toy, so I'm sorry if you're picking that up. But no, I mean, Waterloo and Rose Couch got player of the game for one reason, and one reason only, is because she was able to open the offense up. She scored 19 on the night. She was the game's leading scorer. That's big too. But what she was able to do as a true point guard, and when those threes aren't connecting, getting her girls to kind of filter their way inside, taking more mid-range shots, making sure the ball gets to the post to get that offense rolling. She was very influential in that factor tonight. Also, before we get into our interviews, got that chance to catch up with their lone senior on senior night too, Olivia Colstrom. Got a chance to talk to her for a couple minutes. I didn't want to take too much of their time, but she has a pretty interesting story coming over from Denmark as a transfer student, and she's staying with her transfer family and everything. And I thought it was just a really cool story to kind of pick her brain for a few minutes too. So we have that interview as well.
2 players in the MVAC Scarlet tier, both from Europe. That'll be interesting when they get together.
I can't wait for that first Jack. That's Monday, buddy. That's Monday. Right. That's happening against Jackson Milton comes to Waterloo Monday.
We'll talk about it later, but now Jackson Milton's in a really tough spot.
And Coach Longenecker talks about this matchup a little bit in the interview, and these are just 2 teams of similar makeup too. I mean, roster size. I mean, you kind of feel that same grit, grind, and determination with both of them. This is going to be a scrappy, fun matchup on Monday, I believe.
We'll talk about that more on Monday. We'll talk a little bit more about Jackson Milton's game later, but let's go to your post-game press conferences with Waterloo. You have 3 interviews, Coach Longenecker, their lone senior, and Rose Couts.
Welcome back, everyone, here as I am now with Coach Longenecker of these Waterloo Lady Vikings. Went over Sebring Trojans here, 49-13. Coach, another great defensive performance from your girls. I mean, they did it again, like I said earlier in the season, against McDonald. Talking about that with this team defensively, having held two opponents now to such low scores, and throughout the season, how proud are you of the defense? And with a night like this, how much does defense play a part in a victory?
Big time. One, really like how we're playing defensively. Our kids are really buying into what we're doing. And just, tonight, I thought that was the key. We just wanted to defend hard. We just talked about defending hard. And I think our kids are helping each other a lot. We communicate really well on the floor. And it's been fun to watch. That's really kept us in games that were close this year. So proud of that.
Rose Couts, player of the game tonight, not only for scoring 19 points, but for really getting that offensive tempo and rhythm in flow, because not the hottest night from three-point land tonight, and you'll have those nights. How important is it for Rose being that primary point guard to really get this offense going when three-point shots aren't working out, just trying to get the engines moving? Yeah,
absolutely. I thought in the second quarter we got our transition action happening a little better. And Rose is almost always responsible for that. If the ball's not coming down in her hands, it's probably Lily or Kara is on a breakout or something. But Rose is getting a great feel for finding people and finding space. And I'm glad she plays for us.
Lone, I would be too. I can't imagine why anyone wouldn't be. Olivia Colstrom is your lone senior
Yeah.
on this today, and I mean, interesting story coming over from Denmark. And when we had a chance to talk with her, I mean, nothing but good things to say about the program, nothing but good things to say just about the school in general.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you being a coach that you have such an influence on these players' lives outside of the sport of basketball, and
Yeah.
so much so going forward that they
Yeah.
take life lessons away from you?
It is. It's, we never know when we're going to get a foreign exchange student. I think this is the third one we've had since I've been here. And it's just neat now that, when you see an email come in from the Netherlands or Denmark, and, so these kids still keep in touch. And I think that's pretty cool. And each time the three kids that we've had have been great kids, maybe not basketball talent wise, that they're going to give us a lot of minutes on the floor, but they've just been embraced in our basketball family, and they've made us better people because of who they are.
Talking about that Waterloo family, it's a tight-knit group, and we know they love their basketball. I know they're going to love this Monday matchup too,
Yeah.
Coach. You got this Jackson Milton team, the one team that you have to still play twice on the season,
Right.
the one team that's still kind of threatening that MVAC conference title. What kind of energy is going to need to be brought in? What are you guys going to need to do to carry that momentum into Monday's home matchup versus the Blue Jays?
Well, very good team. They've got some great personnel. We're very similar in some ways, roster size and personnel. So it's going to be a great matchup. Pat does a great job there. His kids play some tremendous defense, and they've scored a bunch of points a few times this year. So it's we got COVIDed out the first trip around, and looking forward to this.
Final question for you. As we know, tournament time is rapidly approaching. Where do you as a coach try to find that balance of keeping the team competitive, focusing obviously because you're still in the conference run, but also not letting them look too far ahead at that tournament, as you're going to have the seeding, you're going to know you're drawing here prior to the end of the season?
Yeah. Well, I think that, naturally everybody looks ahead a little bit, but for us, literally, and it probably sounds a little cliche, we have really emphasized one day at a time, and regardless of who the next opponent is, and that's still who what we're doing. We have a brutal stretch coming up here, and we can't look too far ahead. Sure, the tournament's exciting, and we're excited for the draw and to see how that plays out. But there is a lot of basketball to be played before the first tournament ball goes up in the air.
And we're excited to join you guys along for a lot of that ride, as Waterloo are winners of a Baker's Dozen, 13 straight now, as they go to 13-1 on the year, add another win in that MVAC Scarlet side over Sebring, 49-13. Coach Longenecker, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Ty. Appreciate it.
Welcome back, everyone, as I am here with today's player of the game. Rose Couts is a part of the 49-13 victory, Waterloo over Sebring. Couts having 19 points of offense tonight. And talking about the team overall, you guys, not the hottest shooting from three-point distance tonight, but as the point guard, what was kind of the talks with the team of trying to get that offensive flow and that rhythm going in the first?
We just focused on trying to get the ball moving, try to get the ball inside more than outside. If it's not going good on the outside, it's got to go good on the inside, and just try to draw fouls and work the ball inside.
That was on the offensive side of things. I mean, when you hold a team overall to 13 points on defense, you can win a lot of games. You did this against McDonald earlier on in the season as well. Talk to me, just being one of the junior leaders on this team and being that point guard that kind of sees the whole court all the time. How proud are you of the defense of this team, and how strong can this team really be against some of the area's better scorers?
I think we are really strong on defense, and we came a long way from the beginning of the season just with our communicating and our energy in practice. We try to keep our energy up in practice, so that's how we play in the games, and it's really just big communication.
Looking at the team too, I mean, there's no secret. You guys have 8 girls on the team too. You don't have enough to play full 5-on-5 squads in practice. Do you think that kind of gives this team an edge? And if so, what is kind of that attitude and mantra that you guys come into every game with, looking to win?
I don't think we all thought that we were going to be coming this far and doing this good from the start. And I think we've all just, being a small team, bonded so much together, and it just makes our communication a lot better.
I think you guys have another big matchup coming up here with Jackson Milton inside the conference, and you guys have taken down McDonald, you've taken down Western Reserve this season. I want to give you the chance to kind of just call out that Waterloo community. I know they're going to be here in full support, but for anybody that's on the fence about it, call them out and tell them to get here for that Jackson Milton matchup.
Definitely need to be there for that game.
As Rose Scouts giving you the call out, you guys need to be here. It's going to be a big game. Lady Vikings, Lady Blue Jays, as Waterloo looks to stay in first place in the NBAC. Rose Scouts, your player of the game tonight, 19 points. Thank you so much, Rose. Welcome back, everybody, as I am here with Waterloo's lone senior after a 49-13 victory over Sebring and Olivia Colstrom. And Olivia, a little bit interesting story coming to you all the way from Denmark this year. First and foremost, I mean, I just got to ask the question, how's this experience been for you? How's the experience been playing for the team and just going to Waterloo High School?
Oh, it has been great. I've really met a lot of people that I really have become close with, like my family. And the team is just great. It's so much fun, and there's so much joy and energy. It's just fun to be a part of.
What are some things you've taken away from this team outside of just it being a basketball team? What are any life lessons or anything that have been learned along the way?
Learn to trust people and learn to cooperate with people and just be in your ace all the time. Be happy. Just be with your team.
Talking about basketball, when did this love for the sport first come along? Was this something that you found a love for since you were a little girl, or did this come along more recently?
I mean, basketball has always been a thing I've been most fond of as a sport, but I didn't really play it when I was younger. I started when I was around 13, 14, and then I had a lot of bad clubs experiences in Denmark, so I didn't really play that much, but here, this team is amazing. I wish this team was in Denmark so I could keep playing when I come home.
What's something from here that you like better than from back home, and the vice versa? What's something from home that you miss that isn't from here?
Oh, I definitely love having a small team, and our coach is amazing. What I miss, I don't really know. I kind of like it more over here.
Yeah. It's becoming a fan quickly.
Yeah.
Of course, I know you got some family over in Denmark. So for anybody that's watching or anyone that gets to see this, I want to give you a chance now to kind of shout them out and say hi to everyone back over the water. As Olivia Colstrom, final question I have for you too.
Yep.
Just what has this experience meant for you, and what has the overall experience been like for you coming over to this and just having the chance to have this as an opportunity all around?
Yeah, I mean, Denmark is a very small country, so this experience has really opened my eyes to more of the world, more of how it functions over here, and it's so different from Denmark. It's like a whole other experience, and I'm definitely going to take a lot of stuff from here home to Denmark. Like, I've changed as a person, and I've become more open-minded, and I talk to a lot more people over here. So,
what's one thing you want to leave this team, this coaching staff, and this entire school with? One thing you'd like to say to all of them before we let you go here?
keep being you. Keep having a lot of energy and joy as you always have.
As that is Olivia Colstrom of the Waterloo Lady Vikings, all the way from Denmark. Thank you so much for your time.
Wow, great interviews from the player of the game, Coach Longenecker, and also Olivia Colstrom, who coming to us from Denmark.
You got to feel like parents and family are watching from there. Like YSN's all over the map, baby. We're in Denmark. We're in Spain. People are watching all over.
People watching
I like doing that for the seniors too. I like, and that's something I want to try to incorporate. Obviously, like if I'm covering a team like an East Liverpool that has 10 seniors, I'm gonna have to do that a little bit earlier. Lucky for me, Fitch and Waterloo got only one, so I was able to do a little bit of one-on-one time with them. But I think for seniors, regardless of where your talent level is, and regardless of where you fit on that basketball team, I think especially the ones that have been there 3-4 years, putting in time, putting in work, going to practices, it's deserving of an interview, regardless of where you are on the court. So I love giving those seniors a little bit of spotlight, especially when they got a story like Olivia's too. You're coming all the way from Denmark, and you get this experience with this team too, as might be somewhere she ends up in the future too. Really liking it over here in America too. We love to hear that as well.
You know, both Blankenford and Colstrom in their interviews said how much they just kind of want to stay here. So
I wouldn't mind to sit down with Olivia a little bit longer and just talking to her a little bit more, but just time constraints kind of prevented that. But I'd love to give her some due diligence, like you did with Carla's interview. I think you did a great job with that, by the way, Anthony.
all right, let's thank you. By the way, let's continue our recaps. We have Lakeview. They get the 45-21 win over Niles. We've seen Lakeview improve this year. Nice to see them get back in the win column.
Lakeview is not a pushover in that NE8 anymore. I don't care who you are going up against them, from South Range to Poland, all the way down to the teams like Niles who are trying to rebuild. Lakeview, I think, is kind of dead smack in the middle of that. I throw them in the middle of that pack, just below your Struthers, your Polands, your South Range, just above some of those other teams that are rebuilding. But Lakeview is another one of those teams, just like the entirety of the NE8. Anybody can beat anybody. This team's not a pushover. They have a couple NE8 wins under their belt, too, and they've kept it close with some of the NE8's best, too. South Range just a couple days ago.
Yeah, they'll have a chance to prove it yet again on Monday. They'll be hosting Poland for the second matchup with the Bulldogs. We'll go to Springfield. They got the win over Louisville, 66-41. Big night for the Tigers. We have South Range. They keep pace in the 88. They get another defensive win, 32-24. They beat Hubbard.
Yes, it was another big win too, as Hubbard again can't pull off the victory in this one. A little bit of things they're trying to figure out over there. South Range though takes advantage perfectly as they are able to get in with a big win over the Lady Eagles in that one. As unfortunately though, I think there was an injury. Did that occur in that game or was it?
No, it happened in this game. Lexi Giles went down. We have no idea the severity of it or anything like that, but
I wanted to just thoughts with her,
back.
Obviously, and just wish her the best in all of her health and future endeavors. As we never like to see our student athletes suffer injuries, so we of course wish her the best too.
They got a big week ahead because they have Struthers on Monday, Poland on Thursday, so they would definitely love it if she's able to get back by Monday. We'll go to United. They continue to be undefeated in the EOAC, 49-20. They get the win over East Palestine.
I mean, they rock that EOAC, man. I mean, we said it. If there's one team right now, no team in any of our coverages of conferences is as dominant as the Lady Eagles on the EOAC side of things. As I mean, for girls basketball and boys basketball, I don't think there's a single team that is dominating their conference as much as the United Lady Eagles right now.
I would say that, yeah, I think so.
I don't think, because every other conference has at least, I feel like, one other team that is in striking distance. But I mean, I could look at the updated standings.
Camel's undefeated, but Liberty's gotten close on the boys' side.
And Liberty only has, I think, the one loss too.
Mm-hmm.
So Liberty can still tie things up with Camel. It's a home matchup with the Red Devils, but that one, Waterloo's up by 2 games over everyone, but Jackson Milton plays them twice. So there's still destiny that can be controlled for more than one team in all these other conferences, I think, except United. I don't think there's a team within 3 losses right now of United.
Well, Waterloo got in a much better position thanks to McDonald last night. They get the win over Jackson Milton, 43-38, and this throws a big hole into Jackson Milton's chances to get into that MVAC conversation. They have 3 losses in the league now, 2 of them to McDonald.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, I wasn't trying. Now, just talking about that, McDonald all of a sudden is telling us they need to be put back on the map, and Coach Matisse is saying, "I don't need a full season to rebuild this group. I don't need a full season to lay down this foundation." I mean, I know we just went to state. I know we lost a lot of our best players. The Howards aren't here anymore. He said, "Give me about a half season to throw a foundation down. We'll build a new house right on top of this." They just won over Western Reserve and Jackson Milton now. And you're right. I was talking about 2 losses too, but I completely forgot this. And this is one I texted you about last night too that I was surprised about. This kind of does. I mean, now with Jackson Milton having 3 losses, Springfield's the only other 2-loss team, but they only have 1 game with Waterloo. So that really hope that Waterloo slips up somewhere else now.
Jackson Milton is now in the same boat as everyone else. They have to beat their matchups with Waterloo and hope that Waterloo stumbles somewhere else.
And the only other team that Waterloo really has on that Scarlet side is Springfield, I think. I don't think there's many more conference games that the Lady Vikings have.
They have to play McDonald again.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The McDonald home game, which now, I mean, take that first score and throw it right out the window. It means nothing right now. I mean, and that's the biggest thing, too. And flip side, too, for Waterloo, take that first score against Alliance, first game of the season, throw that out the window.
Alliance is a Division II team, too.
Yeah. And throw that West Branch score against Garfield, first game of the season. You could throw that out the window. The beautiful thing, too, and we talk, it's a lot of wins and losses, too. That's big that we look at these teams and how we rank them. But as everybody will tell you, it's when you lose, too, is a huge factor.
Wait, before we get off, let's give the fans one last look at the power rankings.
Yeah,
it might change a little bit before you next time.
One last look at this the way that they work.
We'll do that a little bit later. Let's continue our recap. Struthers gets the NE8 win over Jefferson. A tight one, 38-32, but the Cats pull it out.
Lady Cats are looking really good in that NE8. And like I said, after throwing that monkey wrench at Poland just a few weeks ago, they're all of a sudden tapping on the glass of that NE8 trophy case and saying, we're right here too.
On Monday, they got South Range in the Raiders Thriller Dome, but we'll see how that goes.
They need a little bit to happen to get into the NE8 picture, but a win over South Range, even though it's a little bit depleted, that's another big win to say we beat the top teams of the league.
They could get into second place,
and that's really huge for that program because then you can look for conference title next year for sure.
You'll look at it. Brookfield got the big win over LeBray, 54-20. LeBray starting to tail off a little bit. Don't know what, but like these scores are starting to get like LeBray struggling to score. I think I haven't watched the film, but maybe teams have really figured out a way to slow down Laura McCoy, and secondary scorers are starting to struggle to find a rhythm in there. But like LeBray's offensive output in the last 2 weeks has been low.
It's also a product of when conference play opens up, that gray side of the MVAC is pretty damn brutal. I mean, you got Champion, you got Garfield, you got Liberty. I mean, and that's 6 of your games right there. So, I mean, you understand, too, if you're kind of a middle of the pack team last year, a lot of those teams got better, too. So if you're kind of stuck in limbo trying to still get better, too, you're going to find yourself drop down that ladder a little bit because that gray side got so much better in just one short season.
Speaking of that gray side, Liberty, they complete the season sweep of Garfield 54-50. This is the one you got on me. We split because it was a toss-up, but didn't go Garfield's way.
Garfield cannot leave this conference. This conference needs to stay together because for these little bit smaller schools, it's like the NE8 of D3 really. This year it seems like it with these kind of matchups, man. Like both the Garfield and Liberty matchups this year is something we're going to probably see pretty close again next year because Liberty returns a decent amount. Garfield returns a decent amount as well. They lose a little bit more in their seniors, but
they lose.
Aaron Gilbert turns out talent like it's nothing else. It's such a great matchup, but another big win for Liberty too over again a power ranked team this time.
And it was Crestview getting the 37-24 win over Newton Falls. Crestview start having a really good second half of the season.
Coach Blatch is doing a great job too. They had that winning streak that got them back to 6-6. Like this is a team that like bad seasons for them feel like 10-win seasons. So like this is just a program that like you mentioned it yesterday when you have top scorers in the 2000s, like get out of here. Like this is a great program. Their down year is still close to a winning season. Coach Blatch doing a great job per usual over there with the girls basketball team and the Lady Rebels.
Columbiana gets the win over Latonia, 39-36, a close one in the Bears' den.
I'm muted. That's my fault. I accidentally muted myself. I said props to Coach Fritz in this program for being able to build this team back up this season and make them competitive because that's the thing. Even though they've dropped some games, they got a solid squad over there in Latonia and they can beat anybody and came just that close of being another one of those major upsets in the 21-22 season on the basketball side of things.
Oh, so close.
That would have been another one too. We've had so many this season. It's so fun every night.
You look at some more scores around the area. Lisbon beat Wellsville 44-39.
I told you. You handedly picked Lisbon. I picked them with you, but I said Wellsville's going to be riding high off of that victory, and they almost came in with a victory over Lisbon, and that would have been huge. Doing a great job down there with Wellsville. They've been so competitive this year. They have more wins, I believe you said, since 2015. That in itself is incredible for the program to build itself back up. They're looking competitive in the games. Props to the Lady Tigers, but especially props to the Lady Blue Devils coming away with another victory on the season.
Southern beat Valley Christian. That score was 43-22.
Southern looks pretty good in that EOAC too. Ashley Schroeds is always a problem.
Western Reserve took care of Mineral Ridge 62-41.
A lot better score than I would have thought too. Rams looking decent on offense, able to get that point total up there. Defense looked like it just kind of struggled with that Western Reserve offense, able to put up 60+.
Champion beat Camel 61-17. So
Big win again for the Lady Flashes.
Champion staying right there in that MVAC. We have Wyndham falling to Bristol 66-27.
We figured Bristol would be upset after that loss to Liberty. Real quick on Champion, does that mean, well, now with that loss of Garfield, who are the only teams that could take down Liberty? Is it Champion and Brookfield now? Realistically?
Champion has one league loss, but they still have to play Brookfield twice.
And Liberty won.
Garfield again, because they beat Garfield by like 4 the first time they played.
So that's Garfield.
Liberty can take down Liberty. Reset. Champion can't take down Liberty because they can just win and tie. Brookfield has the extra loss to Garfield, so they still need Liberty to take a second loss.
And that one is going to be,
and they have Champion twice.
Yeah, and they all kind of have to play each other. Brookfield and Liberty's done. Brookfield's the one closest. Them and Champion are the ones closest.
Well, now that Garfield lost to Liberty for the second time.
They got 3. It's I don't want to say it's over for Garfield because these teams could still beat up on each other, but they have the hardest path to the conference title this year.
Champion's sitting right there, but Champion's looking at that last game going, oh my gosh, what went wrong? Because they lost pretty handedly.
So weird that
30
Champion
points.
beat Garfield, lost to Liberty by the scores they did, but Garfield has lost by like a combined 6 points in 2 games to the Lady Leopards.
You got to think that was just a really bad off night for Champion.
It had to have been. I can't take that
or it's just a match
value as that's Champion against Liberty every time. I got to figure that Lady Flashes team is a lot better than what they were that night.
We'll see soon because they're going to match up together again in no time. Last score of the night, East had to move their home game because there was a water break in the high school, so they played at Wilson Middle School. Didn't affect them. They get the 53-36 win over Ashtabula Lakeside.
Pretty cool that it occurred too at Wilson Middle School. And you know what, Tanisha Franklin, I think it was record win 140. I want to say it was in her career. She's up there too, and she's doing a great job with this East program too. We remember where these East girls were a year ago. It's another coach that's gone into the program and has really started building this thing up. And they're looking good. They're competitive in every game. They just came this close from beating Mooney the other night. They rode that momentum and got a victory the last night, I should say. So props to the Lady Golden Bears on continuing to build that program, and props to Coach Franklin for doing a good job over there.
They definitely have some pieces there that make them tough to work with. So tough to deal with, I should say, not work with. They're probably a gold gym to work with. I'm sure Coach Franklin loves working over there. We will go and take our first break of the day. We'll be back with more on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
All day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com. and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Ty, every time I see that YSU commercial, I wish I took ceramics in college.
There's a lot of classes that
if
I had more time to take, I would absolutely take them. It's just a matter of there's not enough time in the day for everything. But I agree with you. Like, if I literally had the time, I would love to be just knowledgeable in so many other areas and so many other things.
I've never actually done it, but I have a feeling that there's not too many feelings more satisfying than holding your hands on one of those spinning like clay pots and molding it like that. That's got to feel kind of real, like one of those satisfying feelings.
Once you see like the mold start to take place, like on
like this,
things.
and it's like rolling real fast. It's almost like I imagine it's like a hand massage or something.
All those things are always fascinating to me. Like people that can crochet and knit and sew like things, just like clothes too, is like it's crazy to me as well. I've never been good as far as like the little tiny finicky things.
No, me neither. Like if you asked me to knit, I'd be like, I can't even see the needles. What are you talking about? Knit? I'd be like, what am I doing here?
Anthony's just like this, just clanging them together, having a sword fight with himself after like 10
Yeah, I'm
seconds.
just like,
You're just,
and then I'm starting like the reenact Star Wars scenes where it's like, you underestimate my power.
imagination. You just let it run wild with some knitting.
It's over, Anthony. I have the high ground.
Your mom comes in with the knitting needle, starts playing the part. Oh my god!
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Only on Running Point do you find these kind of tangents that we only on YSN Network shows. I should say. I should just say Running Point because they do this on Power Hour all the time. But we absolutely love going off on tangents on this show. I think it's one of our favorite things.
Let's get back on track. We're going to go through the Division 4 Northeast District. Once again, the seeds aren't out yet, so this is in no particular seeding order, just going over the teams that will be inside the district so everyone knows what teams to look out for, maybe what teams outside of the YSN coverage map could be big threats to the ones inside our coverage map. This is Division 4, and this is how it'll lay down. It actually is in alphabetical order. So
And if you
I can't say no particular order because it's in alphabetical.
And if you do want to see, we also did our little bit in-depth recaps on divisions 1, 2, and 3 that was on yesterday's show in the second hour of the show. So if you're looking for any of our thoughts and opinions on that, or if you just want to join in on the debate for those 3 divisions, you could check that out on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook and socials as well. That'll be there for you.
Yeah, perfect time to subscribe to the YouTube channel, by the way.
Absolutely.
Shameless plug. Hit subscribe. Hit that notifications bell.
Daily content, too. Daily content.
That's why you got to hit that bell so you're always notified when we put videos up because we're putting videos up at a high rate. So you never want to miss.
It's literally almost daily content. Thousands of videos already on there, too. So
definitely don't want to miss any of the things that we put up. So subscribe, hit that notification bell, and have some fun on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But let's dive into Division 4 now.
Here are your teams in the Division 4 Northeast District bracket. Well, not bracket, but, the list.
Yeah.
Badger, Bristol, Middlefield Cardinal, Cocker, Lisbon, David Anderson. That's why they're up there on the list. East Canton, Heartland Christian, Jackson Milton, John F. Kidney, Latonia, Lordstown, Lowville, Maplewood, Matthews, McDonald, Newton Falls. Our Lady of Elms has been scratched off, so obviously they're not going to be in the district anymore. They're on there, and they got a line going through them. So after them, it's going to be Sebring, Southern, Springfield, St. John's, Valley Christian, Wellsville, Western Reserve, and Wyndham.
2 teams I'm looking at for YSN coverage that I think have the best chance at doing it. Well, I'll give you kind of 2 and 2A. Number 1 is Springfield for me. Straight up, I think the Lady Tigers have the best overall chance. I think
Springfield might get the 1 seed. To be honest,
they might.
I know Bristol has a pretty good record. It might be Bristol.
My 2 and 2A for YSN coverage, I got to go Jackson Milton Western Reserve as like 2 and 2A that I think, because I think they're interchangeable, and I think either one of them can catch fire in this division and ride it pretty far. Jackson Milton just because they have a really solid roster. Western Reserve just because they're figuring things out late and they're well coached by a coach that's been there. So I think honestly looking at it too, but my wild card is McDonald all of a sudden now. With the wins they've garnered against both Western Reserve and Jackson Milton, they have to be looked at as a wild card going
into. Those 2 teams have a chance, and then forget about McDonald, who just.
I can't forget about McDonald. I have to give nods to them. Their record's a little bit more shaky, and I've seen only really the low of McDonald in person. You just
saw the Waterloo game.
Yeah, I've seen the low of them in person. So my highs of where I've seen them have been more on the network too. So I've gotten a chance to see a little bit and kind of gauge that. And like Coach Gilbert says, what McDonald team shows up is a big factor. If they're this McDonald team that's up here that's beating Jackson Milton Western Reserve, they're going to be a tough out too.
Very interesting. I think Springfield's probably going to be like the top YSN seed, if not the top seed in the district. You look at records, I think Bristol still is 12-3.
Bristol's going to be a tough.
No, actually
tough
13-3
one.
because they got the win last night, so they have 13 wins. So they might be in one of those top seeds.
You might see Springfield Bristol in a district semi or a district final. Honestly,
usually Dalton is in this district, but we missed Dalton and we missed Lawnville, which
they're not in a different division, correct?
No, they're in Division 4. They're in the region, so we'll see them in the regionals, but they're not in the district. Which that's a bullet dodge.
They saw that district last year and they were like, "We want out there."
Because Dalton is a Division 4 team that took Louisville to the brink, so that tells you how good Dalton is.
Dalton always has good athletic programs.
And I learned the very harsh lesson last year that it's Dalton, not Dalton.
Yeah, I think you were the one that told me that.
Yelled at by Dalton fans.
Dalton.
It's Dalton.
Hey, we're all about getting it right here, though. I mean,
even if it takes,
we don't know what we don't know, though. As Coach Longenecker loves, I love that saying. We don't know what we don't know. Tell us, and we'll be knowledgeable on it.
It's like freshmen. That's what makes freshmen so good.
Yeah,
they don't know what they don't know.
You can teach us wrong, and we look like idiots on the air for 2 hours a day.
So without Lawnville and Dalton in here, I think the biggest threats outside of YSN's coverage. Maplewood's got some really good players as a team, very beatable.
Yeah, I think Bristol's got to be up.
Bristol's right there. Cardinal will be competitive.
Cardinal, usually has solid programs too.
And I don't know what East Canton lost, but they got into the district. What district
they were there
last year with Western Reserve. So I don't know exactly what their senior output was last year or how much they lost, but we can always look that up and see where East Canton's sitting. Why not? We have the time.
And with how close I feel like Division 4 seems too. I mean, the beautiful thing about this, we've seen McDonald beat Western Reserve and Jackson Milton. We've seen Western Reserve beat Jackson Milton. We've seen Jackson Milton beat Springfield. Like, these teams are all beating each other right now, and that's a big thing going into this one.
Yeah, big drop off for East Canton. They're 4-15 this year.
So yeah, they
must have the same team they were last year.
I think just looking at this team though, and just looking at where all these teams are standing, it's going to be interesting too. And when I say, mark my words, watch out for those two Blue Devils and that Blue Jay that is in Division 4 in Jackson Milton, McDonald, and Western Reserve. All those teams I think are capable of beating Springfield. All those teams I think are capable of beating Bristol. So Division 4, when I say it's wide open, especially for those like middle of the road teams, I think this year, that's where it rings most true. I think you could definitely see any one of those three teams from Milton to Reserve to McDonald make a run for the district semis or district finals.
Springfield and Bristol are both 14-3. So, and that's the record that's going to be that they have when they send in their records.
So I would say they're probably
going to be 13-3 on voting because the seeds had to be in last night, Wednesday at midnight. So last night's games don't count as far as what you're voting on.
Yeah.
So they're both 13-3. They're in 14-3 now, but they're both 13-3 as far as the coaches are concerned. It'll be interesting to see which one gets the 1, which one gets the 2, and how that voting goes.
I think look at the last game factor. The game, Liberty and Bristol is going to be accounted for in that voting. And do you look at that game and say, "Oh, I mean, like, can't we put them at 1?"
I think Springfield has the benefactor of a lot of teams that are in the area that know about Springfield.
Oh yeah, they're gonna.
I think
because of the name.
Every MVAC team will probably vote them 1. The EOAC probably votes them 1 as well. So that's going to be a lot of 1 votes. Bristol probably gets like the Cardinal. Badger probably will vote them 1. I don't know about East Canton, maybe Lordstown. Matthews will probably vote them 1. Wyndham could go either way.
That is true.
Has a lot of teams in this district that would probably vote them 1.
Let me just check something real quick on them. because Springfield's in. This Division 4 is going to be so interesting to see who comes out of it, because not that I'm not confident in Springfield and Bristol. I just think, based on what we've seen from both of them this
They're both
season,
very beatable. They're both
they are beatable. Like, these aren't the.
I
I
get
don't
what
want
you're
to say that because they can become this in the playoffs, but right now, neither of those teams look like this imposing force that,
right,
like the McDonald's of last year and Western Reserve, where you kind of felt like those two are going to lock horns. Like, these two have so much talent. There's such a gap we saw between them. Like, they ran through, they steamrolled their way to each other. And I don't see that, though, with this year. I don't see that with these squads. And I think that's really what's going to make Division 4 interesting, and why I'm saying you could see a lot of these middle-tier teams make a run at it. Like Western Reserve, Springfield beat them 39-38, lost to Jackson Milton 64-60 on the season. McDonald made it a 12-point game later, and they got Western Reserve Monday, Jackson Milton next Thursday before
Waterloo.
Waterloo.
Still have Waterloo again, so it's Western Reserve, Jackson Milton, Waterloo.
Yeah.
The
And those
next 3
games
games.
next week are just measuring sticks, because you might see this matchup in the tournament.
That's the thing. Those games mean nothing as far as the tournament records.
But they mean everything as far as you get to see each other.
Right.
That's wild that's happening. And Jackson Milton already owning the victory. Western Reserve losing by 1 last time. That's what I'm saying. Division 4 is wide open. And I'm actually curious. I want to look over at Bristol's too, real quick.
Both those games will be in Springfield, though, if I'm not mistaken. Jackson Milton beat them in Jackson Milton.
Jackson Milton will be in Springfield. Western Reserve is at Western Reserve.
So it's split. Waterloo is
at Waterloo.
At Waterloo. Okay.
The following Monday. Yep.
Springfield lost 2 home games to those teams, or at least didn't lose. Western Reserve went to overtime with them, but that's big. 2 out of 3 of those games being on the road as well.
Let me look at this Bristol schedule real quick just to see where they're at too. They're 12-0 in their conference, but I don't think their conference is as competitive. They've played McDonald. They beat them by 10. They lost to LeBray 27-25.
They're really even to Springfield. Like, there's really not much you can say that separates these two, other than maybe you could argue that the MVAC Scarlet tier is tougher than the conference they play in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they played
20-point loss to Garfield.
And they lost to Garfield by 20.
And they got blown out
by Liberty.
They did beat Champion by 12. Just looking at YSN coverage teams, Wyndham was a big win for them. Badger was a big win for them. Maplewood,
Champion.
They beat Maplewood by 11.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, they beat Champion handedly. That must have been a bad week for Champion.
Here's the funny thing, though. All these teams, McDonald does not own a win over Springfield. They don't own a win over Bristol. However, they own a win over Western Reserve and Jackson Milton. Jackson Milton beat Springfield. Western Reserve has beaten Jackson Milton. So, that's what I'm saying. So, Bristol hasn't played a whole lot of YSN coverage schools. They played McDonald and they beat them. They played Champion and they beat them. And then they got those 2 bad losses to both Garfield and Liberty, too. And then close loss, 27-25 to LeBray early December 6th in the season. So, that's what I'm saying. Bristol, I feel like if they match up with a Jackson Milton or Western Reserve, I wouldn't let those records speak the entire narrative of that game. Because I think Western Reserve or Jackson Milton can beat Bristol. I think they can both beat Springfield. And I know McDonald hasn't beaten Springfield or Bristol this year, but I think that just gives them all more momentum going into those games to try to come out with a victory.
That makes it really interesting to see what brackets these teams are going to pick.
I'm so excited. Division 4 is going to be exciting, man. I think anyone can come out of it. I really do.
Monday. We'll have all the brackets. We might fill them out on the show on Monday. I don't know if we decided that or not. We're definitely going to fill them out. We're definitely going to have a bracket challenge.
We could do that, or we could save it for Tuesday after our big dog voting too.
You're right. I mean,
because Monday I know is going to be packed with recaps. We're going to be packed with the brackets, at least announcing the brackets.
We're also going to have Stephen Mara on the show on Monday as well.
Yeah.
I want to remind people of that, promo that Mara just committed to Ashland for football. this morning. He announced that this morning, so we're going to have him to talk about that. And like I said, if we're stroking with luck, he'll win the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley, and we can have that kind of interview too with him on Monday as well.
Monday should also be the drop of the new power rankings too, so we'll either have it on Mondays or
Kachina. Good segue, Ty, because I want to pull up these power rankings and let the people see them before they change over the weekend. And we have a lot of results and a lot of results still to go with tonight's games and Saturday's games.
Yeah, don't let these records. These are not updated records on.
No. These are records as of. Hold on, I lost my cursor. Got it. These are records as of last Saturday. So going in Sunday. So going into this week, these are the records.
Yeah, this week
we'll start with what? We'll start with the girls and look at this. The top 4 probably don't change that much because it's kind of a ho-hum week for everyone. Louisville got wins. Salem got the wins.
Does Liberty jump Poland now after the win over Garfield and a win over Bristol? I mean, like, those wins seem a little bit bigger than what Poland did this week. Not saying that Poland doesn't deserve to be a top 5 team, but I mean, I just know the way that they've been voting. It's how big of a week is that?
I can't because I voted Liberty. I flipped those 2 in my vote. So those are one of the only changes I had in mind compared to the final vote is I had Liberty 5, Poland 6. So my vote probably won't change that much at all.
Waterloo doesn't. He only played the 1 game so far this week.
A lot of these teams didn't play on Monday or Tuesday because of the cancellations.
Yeah, Waterloo. I mean, I think they'll stay probably on that list. I just don't know how much. I don't know if they can really move up much with only the 1 game this week.
Yeah, especially since
Garfield might drop. Now that they've lost to Liberty, there's 6 losses on this season.
Yeah, I think Garfield has to go. I think one of the other MVAC teams that's on the outside looking in might have to pop in and replace them.
Brookfield, yeah, I was going to say might jump in.
Brookfield are champion because
kind of see everyone slide up a spot.
See, that's where you argue this because like
Brookfield
Champion has beaten Garfield and Brookfield hasn't. But also, Brookfield beat Liberty, of course, and they won this week, and Champion won this week too. I'm leaning towards Champion, but we'd see how the other people vote in the polls too.
I could definitely see Garfield just kind of sliding out of the top 10. One of those other 2 teams slide into that 10 spot, and then having 10 through 8 just move up 1 spot.
At this point in the season, when everyone's so close, like if you're in the 7 through 10 and you lose the game, that's good enough to pop you right out.
Yeah, and that's what I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see how everything votes, but I mean, honestly, I wouldn't change a whole lot. I would just literally go Waterloo 7, Canfield 8, Springfield 9, drop Garfield out and put either Brookfield or Champion at 10, and then maybe flip Liberty and Poland at 5 and 6, and then keep that top 4 exactly the way it is.
Let's see. West Branch plays Canton South tomorrow, so they have a game tomorrow, but that'll be their only game of the week. Trying to see what Louisville is doing. I think they have a game tomorrow.
I would my top 10 going into this, because I'll just be transparent. If I were voting on this, I'd go Salem, Louisville, Howland, West Branch, Liberty, Poland, Waterloo, Canfield, Springfield. I would go Brookfield over Champion, but that's take your pick at 10.
Okay. Now here's a question, Ty, because Salem will have a game tomorrow. I believe they're going to be at Cardinal Mooney. So, but Louisville has North Canton Hoover. If both teams win, what do you do? Because Hoover's a monster team.
That one it requires a little bit more deep. You just got to look at because I mean, obviously Louisville with 2 more losses, but you got to go somewhat off a strength of schedule. And I know it's hard because you can't always say they have one team's might have more power ranking wins over the other, but the other team's going to have, I think, I don't know. I feel like Louisville has so many strong wins on the season.
Canton Hoover has wins over Canton McKinley. They've beaten CVCA, who's a Division II powerhouse. They've beaten Maslin Jackson. They've beaten Green. Their losses.
It stays the same if both teams just win. If Louisville wins, if Louisville blows them out, though, like plus 15, plus 20 points. I don't know, man. I feel like that's another great win to add to their 13 wins then on the season, on a bunch of them coming against some fantastic teams around the state. I don't know. I've always kind of said like Louisville, I think is.
And by the way, Hoover just beat Glen Oak, 48-39.
Another great win.
I mean, my word.
Louisville's had one of the monster schedules. Them and Howland, I've always said has one of the best schedules.
That's where you go. Like Hoover has 7 losses on the year, but they're to let's see, they split with Massillon Jackson. They've lost to Canton McKinley, which is a split. They lost to Perry. They lost to St. Vincent, St. Mary, St. Vincent, St. LeBron, whatever you want to call them, and they've split with Glen Oak. So I mean,
let's take a look at this real quick. Louisville's 4 losses.
You know, they
first game of the season.
Perry, right? Howland and Perry,
Massillon Jackson, and Green.
And then
Massillon Jackson. I want to just look at the records of the 4 teams that have beaten them this year. Because
by the way, Jackson split with Hoover, who Louisville is playing in Louisville on Saturday.
Massillon Jackson, a 10-plus win team. We already know Howland is a 10-plus win team this year. Both of these going off of great schedules, too. Green has also beaten Massillon Jackson this year, so that already tells me that, yeah, they're a 14-win team this season. And overall, let's just look at Perry, which I already know is another team that's going to be probably over 10. Yeah, 12-win team. So not a single team that Louisville has lost to has under 10 wins this season.
Right.
Not a single one. And of course, losses does come over 10-plus win Marlington teams.
Yeah, the same thing for Salem, because Salem has 2 losses to Marlington, who's at 10-plus wins.
Do you look at this, though, and say that Louisville – does Louisville have a stronger schedule than Salem, I think,
I think they do.
Is a better question to ask.
I
I
think
think
they absolutely
do as well.
Like, to honestly, like, it's not even close, because I don't think Salem has one Division I team other than Howland. I think Howland's their only Division I team on Salem's schedule.
Wins
not mistaken.
For Louisville. I'll have to check the records for some of these teams, but these are just teams I usually see a lot in basketball. Claymont, Chardon, Dover, Massillon, New Philly, Marlington, Dalton. I mean, oh my goodness. They've gotten a lot of wins, and their losses too to Perry was by 6. Howland was by 4, and then they have 2 bad losses against Green and against Massillon Jackson. Both of those were 20-point losses. However, I do think that Green matchup both of them were without Kendall Loy, I'm pretty sure, and that Green matchup was also coming. I think
was the Howland game was without Kendall Lloyd too.
And Howland's 12-5. Howland's got another tough schedule though too. I mean, Howland, that is another great debate. That if we have time one show, we should definitely just do a deep dive on that, because who had the better schedule in Howland and Louisville? Because we always
once again, I think it goes down to Louisville. I mean, like,
because Howland has played Salem, they've played Perry, they've played Marlington, they've played Louisville and beat them. They've played Hoban. There's some good names on there too.
There are, but Louisville is playing an independent D1 schedule.
That is true. I mean, Howland, I think, has loaded up that schedule though this year too. That's why I said if there's any YSN coverage teams in D1 that are making it out of the girls' side of that meat grinder of a tournament, I will say Louisville and Howland all day, every day are my 2 picks for that.
It's going to be. I tell you, if Louisville wins by something that's not like a buzzer beater or a fluke, I might put them as 1. I mean, North Canton Hoover.
That is true. I said too. I mean, especially like, I feel like everyone has to vote them 1. Then if this team blows them out, like if Louisville goes against North Canton Hoover and beats them by like 20, Like,
If
how
that-
do you not vote Louisville
If
number
that
one?
happened, it'd be like I wouldn't even have to decide about it. I mean, if they beat North Canton Hoover by 20, I'm just like, boop, one.
Like that's another notable win, and that is why I think it's so important to show that record doesn't always mean everything, and why 4-loss Louisville deserves to be up there. And I mean, I that's why I wanted to kind of deep dive into it and look into it a little bit more, because they have a meat grinder of a schedule too, and they've come out on top. Love the story going on with the Lady Leopards and Coach Kudo coming back midnight hour to come and coach this team and having a great season with a great squad. But honestly, yeah, I wouldn't move anybody off this power ranking list. I just kind of rearrange a little bit. I'd knock Garfield off and just add in Champion or
I was about
Brookfield.
to say Garfield, and then you can kind of argue between Champion or Brookfield replacing them.
But that's the only like new spot I would take. I think Garfield would have to drop off with 6 losses temporarily at least. They might be able to earn their way back in, but I think Brookfield or Champion has more than earned a spot here. And whoever is 10, the other one has to be 11 in my mind.
Right. We'll go to the boys and look at this. Camel, another big week for them. I don't see them moving.
There's no way I think they can move at this point. They've taken care of business, and I think as long as they keep taking care of business, they can stay in that top spot. The only team right now, if Camel keeps on winning, I don't think they come out of that number 1 spot. The only team I think that can threaten them is Springfield being undefeated. If they could run the gauntlet of this schedule and come out victorious, they might be able to sneak one away from Camel. I think East Liverpool needs Camel to lose, though, to get that number 1 spot.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially because we just flipped them. So
Yeah.
it's like if we just flip them and neither of them lose, then unless East Liverpool does something really good, like beats a really strong team, like we were talking with Louisville, then I don't think you flip them.
I like all these other ones too. West Branch, Louisville, Cheney. Poland is good up there too. Struthers, I got to feel like is one of those on the outside looking in that they could definitely snag one of these spots. I think Struthers and Poland this week too. So a win there for the Wildcats, I think, could definitely put them back on this power rankings list.
Struthers plays Poland tonight, by the way. Don't forget about that. That'll be a big one.
That's tonight, actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
I'm saying Friday, and it is Friday.
It is Friday, Ty.
It's one of those big matchups tonight. I think Wellsville and United have a claim they can make a stake for too if they come out victorious tonight of getting up that list. Maybe not cracking the top 10 yet, but at least being just on the outside looking in for an EOAC team to make an appearance.
Springfield's got Louisville tonight, so they're playing.
If Louisville wins this one, that can definitely, I think, drop Springfield out of that maybe top 5. I don't know. Maybe drop them down to 5. But Louisville, I think, would shoot up into like the 7-6 spot then after that big win.
And then you look at East Liverpool, who they have in this week and maybe the upcoming days on their schedule. They don't play until, well, according to Max Preps, take that for a grain of salt. They don't play till Tuesday, February 1st. They're playing Oak Glen.
Wonder where Christian sits schedule-wise, being right there at that 10 spot.
Yeah, East Liverpool has to have more games than it's on their site because they've only played 15, and according to the site, they only have 4 games left. So I would be shocked if they only had 19 games on their schedule.
Stranger things have happened, though. I don't want to completely discount it, but it does seem a little unusual that they wouldn't want to schedule full. But looking at this too, I just wanted to check real quick. Heartlands. They got Chalker tonight. They got Badger Tuesday.
Can you make a move back up towards the top 5? I mean, they have a tough schedule too.
Who?
Cheney.
Oh yeah, I mean Cheney might be one of the strongest schedules in boys basketball this year. I'm not even kidding on that. I mean, when you play the list of teams that Cheney has played, I think you have to start considering them one of the best schedules in the entire area. And they've made it a point to do that this year.
I'm just so impressed that they got St. Vincent St. Mary to come to Cheney.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you got them, Medina. They played. That's a Kennedy Catholic over in Hermitage. Like, there's some great teams on here. But yeah, they got Dalton.
Louisville boys have Canton McKinley tonight. I mean, they're coming off a big win at Massillon Jackson by 2. So they're shaking off that tough loss that a lot of people question them about. Everyone was saying how do they move up 2 spots when they lost to Marlington by 19, but they've answered that call with a win over Massillon Jackson, and now they could get a win over Canton McKinley tonight as well. And then that would be big to keep them in that 5 spot and hold off Cheney if they wanted to.
I think Cheney right now, I mean, they got still on their schedule before the end of the season. They got to play Harding. They got to play Ursuline. They got to play Poland. And they also play Grand River Academy, which I don't know how good they are as far as that's concerned. But I'm seeing at least that, I mean, Poland is a power ranked team. And as far as Ursuline and Harding are concerned, Ursuline's been on the power rankings. That would be a big win. And Harding most likely would make an appearance on this power rankings if we had them under the YSN coverage map. So
Ursuline's been in and out of the rankings, and they have Benedictine coming into Youngstown tonight. Benedictine, big name in football, but not really in basketball. They're just 4-10 on the season.
Yeah, not the greatest this year, but still big game coming up for Ursuline to just try to keep getting momentum for the tournament.
But then Ursuline's got Cheney on Tuesday.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, those Steel Valley Conference matchups are fantastic. And you know what? Honestly, I might have misspoken. I don't know because Cheney might be leading that one by more than 2. I know they have the 1 loss.
Yeah, they lost a they split with Boardman, right?
Well, no, not Boardman. Mooney is one.
Yeah, they split with Mooney.
You're thinking
I was thinking they were in the AAC.
And they basically could be. You could interchange the AAC with Steel Valley Conference teams, honestly. They always play the AAC anyway. They always play Harding, Fitch, Boardman, like every year Cheney does. They play the majority of them.
I think if Springfield wins, especially if they win handily tonight, I think they replace East Liverpool only because East Liverpool doesn't have a game. So, like, if you're idle and you don't have anything to kind of,
and that doesn't mean that Liverpool can't just jump right back into that 2 seed with a perfect week next week. Yeah, let me look at real quick at Springfield's schedule before we get into our picks. I just want to see where Springfield kind of rounds things out. Well, not Akron, Springfield. We've already made that mistake once.
Don't make that mistake again, Ty.
All right, let's look at this Tiger schedule. $15 in a row. Geez, oh man. All right. Louisville tonight, Western Reserve Tuesday, Milton Friday, Waterloo, McDonald, Girard, LeBray. That's the only thing. I mean, they do have their 2 notable wins.
Well, they beat Ursuline, they beat Poland, they beat
and Louisville. Got to throw Louisville in there. Those are the 3 big wins for them this season.
And I think Girard would be a big win later in the season if they got it.
I think it would be a good win for them. For
Girard's record isn't pristine, but that's still going up a division and playing a really good team with really good talented players.
I just want to check now at Camel because I feel like Camel's in the same position. I just want to see who might have the better schedule. I feel like Camel's scheduling. Let's see. They got a win over Badger's not a bad team. Win over. Oh yeah, they did that win over Liberty, win over Cheney. Yeah, those are the big wins too. Win over LeBray would be big, and that's Camel has them tonight. That'd be a big win for them. And LeBray also plays Springfield too on the season, so that would be a big one. They still have to match up with LeBray twice. Does Camel? Liberty once. Fitch champion. I mean, there's some decent teams. So I mean,
if Camel goes through the rest of the season unscathed, I don't see them.
The biggest difference is, I mean, Camel has over 1,000 points as a team in 14 games on the season. Like, that's why you have to rank them.
What's their average right now? Points per. What's their points per average?
I'll get you their points per. And this is exactly why you have to, I feel like, put Camel over Springfield, because in the manner they're beating teams by is like Springfield's had some close ones. Like South Range took them to distance. Like, other than literally a couple games, Camel was beating everyone by like 25.
Except for
1,041
Liberty
points.
and
They're averaging 74.4 points a game.
jeez.
That is ridiculous offensive numbers by Camel. And then looking at their defense, they're holding teams to 50. So, and I mean, you're looking at literally a differential of 24 points per game. Their point differential was plus 24 a game. That is ridiculous. They're beating teams by an average of 24 points a game.
Now, then you just have to compare like whose schedule is harder, and I think it's a coin toss.
I really do too. I mean, I've rattled off 3 big games for both teams that they've come away victorious against. Now, Camel kind of got them a little bit late, getting those wins over both Cheney and then what was the other one? Liberty too. So getting wins over Cheney and Liberty and then putting up 90 on Brookfield, I think definitely helps shoot Camel into their spot.
And they'll also have a game against Fitch, which once again, Fitch's record isn't pristine, but that's going up, I believe, 2 divisions because I think Cheney, I think Camel is 3.
Yeah, they are. It's 3 versus 1. And you know what? It's still Fitch's record too. Seeing a majority of their games, they've lost so many games by 1 possession this season. Like they've been competitive. That it's a 4, I think, and 10, 4 and 11 team that could be very easily 11 and 4. Like I mean, it's literally a coin toss coming down to the end. They just haven't been able to pull out a lot of the close ones. One real quick, I just wanted to peek at East Liverpool as we get started into our picks. 973. So even I thought East Liverpool might have cracked 1,000 too. Not quite there, and they do have an extra game, I believe. Yeah, they do have an extra game over Camel. So I mean, that showcases how impressive it is. Their losses are to New Philadelphia, Wheeling Park, West Virginia. We know a decent amount about New Philly, and then Lincoln Park Performing Arts in Midland, PA. So it's a bunch of bigger schools too. They rock.
East Liverpool has the schedule upper hand because they're playing higher division teams.
Yep, and that
like Lincoln Park alone.
You kind of take the 1 loss and 3 losses and throw them up in the air, and you just put Camel just above Liverpool. Because I think a 2-loss East Liverpool team is over Camel, but a 3-loss East Liverpool team is just under Camel.
We'll see what everyone else thinks when we get the power ranking voting in on Sunday, and we'll have that announcement on the new power rankings on Monday, brought to you by
fun
our
on
great
Monday.
friends.
You cannot miss Monday's show.
Armita's Katina. You can't miss the last half an hour of this show either. We're going to do our picks. We're going to do all that after our next break. We'll be right back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life,
Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. 3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our great friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we continue our Friday edition. And Ty, we got some games to pick, and we got a lot of them. We'll pick tonight's games. We'll pick tomorrow's games as well. As far as the Twitter poll, just tonight's games, we'll go to that one. If you want to pick along with us, you still got some time. You can head over to Twitter. The handle is at Running Point YSN. And
2 days of picks in 20 minutes. Let's go.
You can find the picks there. So Ty, you won last night. Unfortunately for me, I just keep falling and falling and falling. Feeling like John Mayer. I'm free falling.
Hey, you can get reckless now. What else do you have to lose at this point?
The game that you will have the opportunity to either make me take or take yourself is United and Wellsville. This one big in the EOAC. Right now, United has a 53% fan vote edge. So, Ty, what do you want to do with this one?
I want to see what you're going to vote on this one. I'm going to toss it to you.
I'm leaning towards Wellsville at home. So I'm going to pick Wellsville at home.
Give me United. I'll split with you right off the bat. Give me the Eagles.
All right, here we go. This is going to get wild. Fitch at Canfield. Canfield has 91% of the fan vote. Ty, it's your first pick.
Fitch beat them at Fitch by a few. Canfield's going to be angry. Do I play the bad guy with my true love, or do I play the bad guy by going in there against the home team? It's been crazy.
Are you calling this game? Are you doing it?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe I'm in Canfield.
Richie has a women's game, so you're right. You should be doing it.
Yeah. At least that's what it says on my schedule. Quinn? We'll see. I mean, maybe. But no, if I'm going to say for pure, I just don't know if there's anybody missing for either team. That's a big thing. But for pure chaos and because teams have been splitting, give me Canfield.
Give me Canfield as well on this one. Chalker going to Heartland Christian. My first pick, I'll take the Lions.
Yeah.
They have a 62% fan vote edge.
Give me the Lions as well. I'm comfortable with that.
All right, Newton Falls going to Liberty. This is a 82% Liberty fan vote win. Ty, your first pick.
Liberty wins, keeps pace with Camel, tries to get into that MVAC picture.
Liberty. I'll take the Leopards as well. We have Champion going to Garfield. My first pick, Garfield's got 70% of the vote, and I'll ride with the G-Men.
Yeah, give me the G-Men as well. They didn't look too bad against Liberty Camel this past week, I should say.
Louisville hosts Canton McKinley, and the Leopards have 75% of the fan vote. Ty, this is your first pick.
It is Canton McKinley, though.
They're 8-5 on the year against Canton McKinley's schedule, of course, in that federal league.
Give me Louisville.
I'll take the Leopards at home. I'm not rocking against the banner. Valley Christian goes to Columbiana, looking to bounce back after their loss. Columbiana has 80% of the fan vote, though, Ty. It is my first pick, right?
Yep.
I'll take the Clippers. I'll do the Clipper clap.
I'm going Valley Christian on this.
All right. So we split 2 so far. Jackson Milton going to McDonald. Your first pick. McDonald has 80% of the vote.
I don't know, because McDonald just had some struggles as of late.
They've been spinning a little bit.
Jackson Milton's coming off. I'm going to ride. I'm going to stay on the train because the trend is up one way and down the other. I'll go with Coach Procopio and the Blue Jays today.
Well, Coach Francis-Shelley's not going to be happy with you.
Coach Francis-Shelley, I've been riding the train with all season long. I'm riding with averages, and I'm riding to win right now over Anthony Hartwig. I got to go Blue Jays.
I'm going to split with you on this one. I believe that Francis-Shelley is going to get his team back on track, and they're at home. And Jackson Milton, different team on the road this year. They've had all their best performances at home. They beat Heartland Christian at home. Give me McDonald at home to win this game over Jackson Milton. Are you pettily writing this stuff down?
So we could remember
So
the 3 games that we did.
We go to Lisbon at Latonia. It is my first pick. Lisbon has 75% of the vote. I won't go against the fans. Give me Lisbon.
Yeah, give me Lisbon as well.
Struthers goes to Poland. This is a big one inside the NE8. Struthers has 60% of the fan vote. They won the first matchup in the field house. Now they'll go to Poland's field house. It is your first pick, Di.
Ride with the Wildcats.
Flint.
You going
Give me the Blue Dogs. Dogs rule and cats drool. We'll go with West Branch traveling to Salem. Salem coming off that big win over Marlington. West Branch has 70% of the vote. They're looking for the season sweep of Salem. Ty, it is my first pick. I'll take the Warriors to get the win.
Yeah, I think Salem's shot was amazing. I think getting that big win over Marlington was huge, but I think the steam kind of runs out versus the Warriors tonight. Give me the West Branch Warriors.
Benedictine goes to Ursuline, and right now Benedictine has 70% of the fan vote, despite being a 4-win team coming into Youngstown. Now, obviously, like all these other Division I teams, Benedictine has a really tough schedule. But Ty, which way are you leaning?
Coach Gunther and the Irish.
Yeah, I'll take Ursuline as well. Next, we have South Range traveling to Lakeview. The Raiders have 67% of the fan vote at the moment. Man, South Range has been good, bad. They haven't done it on the road yet. I'll take Lakeview to get the win at home in Cortland.
I thought you were going to take South Range, and we were going to split on this one as well.
I'm still like the grown South Range boys team still gives me
like I said, the Girard game was it, but I wasn't confident enough though in them doing it against Jefferson. This is another one. If they can get this NE8 win on the road, I might start believing in them being able to do it more. But I still got to go. Lakeview's been a solid team. I got to go with Lakeview.
Minnow Ridge will go to Western Reserve, and Ridge has 67% of the fan.
Wow.
A lot of people kind of getting on that wagon after Zupko's buzzer beater to beat McDonald last week.
That was pretty awesome for them.
Your first pick.
That. Huh?
Your first pick.
That was a pretty big win for them in that one as well. I'm going to go. I know Western Reserve wanted to get that big win streak. Louisville kind of tripped them up a bit, but I think they could start a new one to end the season. Give me the Blue Devils and Coach Sharinsky.
I'll rock with the Blue Devils as well, especially at home. Warren Harding travels to East. The Raiders have 100% of the vote. 11 votes in this poll, all going to Warren Harding. Ty, it is, let's see, your first pick. I picked Western Reserve first, so. Right? No,
I picked Western Reserve first.
I'll take Harding, the Raiders to win.
Yeah, I'll rock with the Raiders as well in this one. They've looked really good as of late.
Brookfield at Crestview. The Rebels have 56% of the fan vote. Your first pick.
This one's a little bit tougher, too, because both these teams can really come out of it. Crestview's the home team.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the View. Go with the Rebels.
I got to be aggressive. I'll split with you and go with Brookfield. I think this is
a toss-up game. Let me jot it down. Go on. You can go with the next one.
Louisville versus Springfield. That's my first pick. I'll take the Tigers to stay undefeated. 73% of the fan vote the Tigers have on Twitter right now. I think Louisville is really good. Springfield has won tight games. They've proven they can make game-winning plays. They know how to win. I'll take the Tigers.
I think Louisville's chance to beat Springfield came at Louisville, and they just tripped up late. I think they could have beaten the Tigers. I really do. It's a different animal playing in Springfield. It is. It's a tougher team to beat in Springfield. I can't pick against the Tigers at home.
All right, we go from that one to Boardman, where the Spartans will host Howland. This could be a really fun game. 60% of the fan vote going to Boardman. Ty, it's your first pick for this one.
I've never been more confused by two teams than Howland and Boardman, because every time, like it's a roller coaster. But I feel like every time they're zigging, I'm zagging away from the picks, and they're winning, and vice versa on this. So this is actually a very interesting matchup. Boardman's defense, Howland's offense. What do you take in this one? Who's home team?
Boardman.
Spartans have looked so good at home too. Their defense has held some of the area's best. Can they contain Masucci? We'll have to see. Till that point, I don't like saying this often, but give me the Spartans. Give me the Spartans.
Boardman has.
Their
Even when Boardman loses, they've been really good defensively. I think they let Masucci get, even if Masucci gets 25 or 30, someone else has to score to beat Boardman.
Yeah, and they're going to hold everyone else under 10.
I'll take the Spartans here too. I was going to split with you, but I this is one where I have a strong feeling about Boardman. So
if it was Howard at home, I might be swinging with old Fat Paw. And then
Fat Paw. We go to the next one. Jefferson at Girard. 87% of the vote going to Girard. This is a little bit more of a toss-up than the fan vote would say. So it is my first pick. And every time it's a toss-up and Jefferson's involved, I go with the home team because that's such a long trip. I'll go with Girard to get the win.
I'll ride with the Falcons in this one and split with you.
All right, split with us. Okay. Bobby Ray and the Falcons. Their offense definitely lights up the scoreboard when they have to. Camel goes to LeBray. This is a different LeBray team than the first time Camel saw. Aiden Stevens back on the floor. Should be a closer game. I believe this is the second meeting. Camel has 82% of the fan vote. Ty, does LeBray have enough athleticism to run with the Red Devils?
I think they will for about 3 quarters, but someone always steps up for the Red Devils. They got so much talent. Been a big fan of seeing them this year. Give me the Rockin' Red Devils on the road.
Going out swinging, Ty. I'm going to take LeBray and split with him.
Oh, wow. He's going pandemonium.
Got a feeling it's home. It's home for LeBray. Camel's feeling themselves a little bit. Maybe
That
they didn't have
7 we split on. A great night for you can get you 5 back within 5 of me.
Sebring versus
night for you can really hurt you.
I know this is either going to go really good or really bad, but that's what happens when you go down swinging. Sebring versus Waterloo. Waterloo has 60% of the fan vote. It is my first pick. I'll take the Vikings at home.
Give me the Vikings as well.
Hubbard goes to Niles tonight. Hubbard has 67% of the fan vote. Ty, it's your first pick.
I'll take Niles at home.
I was going to go. I thought we were going to split. I'll take Niles as well. So now we'll go to Saturday's matchups, and we'll start with. Well, actually, there's one girls' game tonight. Ty, got to get it. Newton Falls will go to Liberty tonight.
Your first pick or mine?
It's mine. I'll just take Liberty.
Yeah, I'm going Liberty as well.
Quick and easy. We'll go from that to girls basketball on Saturday. It is United at Crestview, a non-conference matchup for the Eagles. Crestview starting to put things together. This is going to be a fun one.
It'll be a fun one. I think United's schedule, girls basketball, correct?
Mm-hmm.
United's schedule has prepared them for games like this. I'm going to go with the Eagles.
I'll go with the Eagles as well. We have Western Reserve Academy at Garfield. G-Men trying to bounce back from the disappointing loss to Liberty. Ty, it's my first pick. I'm not rocking against the banner. I'll take Garfield.
The Lady G-Men are pissed. Give me Garfield.
Niles at Cheney. Ty, your first pick. This is all girls basketball right now. I'll tell you when we switch.
Give me Cheney. Give me Cheney. If it's at home, give me Cheney.
Swinging.
Niles, you're going Niles over.
Give me the Dragons. Canton South at West Branch. It is my first pick. I'll take the Warriors.
Canton South versus West Branch. Yeah, give me West Branch.
All right. Akron North at East. North and East. It's a battle of the compasses. This is still girls basketball, by the way.
Compass points East.
Yep. Compass points East for a win. We have Canfield at Boardman. Girls basketball. Your first pick.
Canfield at Boardman.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Canfield.
Yeah, I'll take Canfield as well. Canton Hoover at Louisville. Your first pick.
Louisville.
Louisville as well from me. Salem at Cardinal Mooney. This is my first pick. I'll take Salem.
Yeah, I'll ride with Salem as well.
Our last girls game for the day on Saturday is Beaver Local at East Palestine. This is your first pick.
I will take the Beavers.
Yep, Beaver Local for me as well. We'll go to boys basketball on Saturday. It is Warren JFK traveling to Lakeview.
Give me JFK.
I'll take JFK as well. We have McDonald going to Louisville on Saturday.
Rocking with the Rockets at home.
It's my first pick.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll take Louisville as well. I'll take this one first. Fitch at Camel, of course. You little cheater. Give me Camel.
Yeah, Camel's just been too impressive. I think Fitch can run with them, though. I do. Fitch has been held to low scores this season where Camel's just so dynamic on offense. I think Fitch will be able to keep pace. I just don't think offensively that they'll have enough. Give me the Rock and Red Devils.
These next games will all be being played at Beaver Local. So the first one they're all neutral sites except for obviously the game that Beaver Local is in. It's Edison versus Martins Ferry.
Martins Ferry.
I'll take Martins Ferry as well. Indian Creek. Well, do we want to pick the ones that are non-YSN matchups? Because we'll have them.
We could. I mean, it's up to
I
you.
know nothing about it. I would be taking a shot in the dark.
Yeah, we could stick with the YSN matchups if you want.
So the next YSN matchup will be Beaver Local hosting Union Local. Beaver Local hosting Union Local.
Is it your first pick or mine?
It's yours.
This one's hard because I have no idea about Union Local.
Which means I get to just go off of what your reaction is. Yay.
I'm going to go with Union Local, though. I feel like
I'm going to split with you.
He's going Beaver Local. Okay.
No, I'm not going to split with you.
Oh, Union Local?
Yeah, I'll take Union Local as well. East Liverpool will play St. Clairsville at Beaver Local as well. And it is my first pick. I'm taking the Potters.
Potters over St. Clairsville? Sure, I'll rock with the Potters too.
All right. So that concludes our picks for the 2 days of basketball. And let's just quickly go over who's going to be where so you know when these games will start. Newton Falls at Liberty Girls Basketball tonight. That is a 5:30 tip. Alec Caberna will be there on the call. And then we have all boys after that. Lisbon at Latonia. Rick Daly will have the call. 6:15 tip for that one. Ty, you'll be in Canfield for Fitch at Canfield. 7 o'clock tip for that. Benedictine and Ursuline will be a 7:30 tip. They're having freshman, JV, and varsity. So it'll be a triple header in Ursuline. Eric Hughes will be there for that call. Brookfield going to Crestview. Larry Scragg will have the call there. That is a 7 o'clock tip. Campbell at LeBray. It'll be Brian Oatridge on the call. That's a 7 o'clock tip for that one as well. Chalker going to Heartland Christian is Mark Franken with the call in the Purple Palace, that one tipping at 7 as well. We have Champion at Garfield. The Garfield School will be handling that one. They do a great job down there. We thank them endlessly for their time and effort in their games. Howland at Boardman, Donnie Riccatelli on the call, 7 o'clock tip. Hubbard at Niles, Dom O'Brien with the call there, and that is a 7 o'clock tip as well. Jackson Milton at McDonald, that is Ian O'Brien, no relation, as he'll be on the call for that one at 7 o'clock. Jefferson goes to Girard, Noah Ricks on the call for that one, 7 o'clock tip. Louisville at Springfield, Jamie Thompson will be there for that one, 7 o'clock tip for the Tigers and Rockets. We have Newton Falls at Liberty. This will be the boys-girls doubleheader, and that one will also be called by Alec Caberna roughly 15 or 20 minutes after the conclusion of the girls' game. South Range at Lakeview. The Lakeview students will be having that one, and it is a 7 o'clock tip. Struthers at Poland students taking care of this one, 7 o'clock tip there. United at Wellsville, Coy will have that one, 7 o'clock tip. Valley Christian at Columbiana, it'll be Eric Hops with that call for you, 7 o'clock tip at that one. West Branch at Salem, DJ Oakley will have that call for you there. And Bob Burrick will be on the call for McKinley at Louisville, 7:30 tip for that one. Real quick, we have just the time winding down. Saturday, United at Crestview, Larry Scragg will have the call for that. Niles at Cheney, Dom O'Brien will be in the Cheney gym for that one. Canton South at West Branch, Michael will have the call. That is a 1:30 tip. By the way, Cheney tips off at 1, and Crestview tips off at 10:45. Early morning start for United and Crestview. We go down to Akron North at East. This is a 2:30 tip. It's Ian O'Brien on the call there. 2:30 tip in Boardman for Canfield and Boardman. Aaron Moser will have the call on that one. Hoover and Louisville tip off at 2:30 as well. Rob will have the call there. Salem and Cardinal Mooney, it'll be Alec Caberna. He'll have the call at 2:30. And then we have Beaver Local at East Palestine. DJ Oakley will have the call for that one at 1:30. For boys, JFK at Lakeview, it'll be the Lakeview students. That's a 7 o'clock tip. McDonald at Lowville, Eric Hughes will have the call there. That is a 7 o'clock tip. Fitch at Camel, you'll be on the call there. That's a 7 o'clock tip. Edison at Martins Ferry, that's going to be at Beavers Local. Michael McKenzie will have the first 2 games at Beaver Local, which will be Edison, Martins Ferry, Indian Creek, and Cambridge. And then, let's see, Chris Sigler will be taking Harrison Central versus Bel Air. That'll be at 2 o'clock. CJ Schroeds and Chris will be together for the Union Local Beaver Local game. And then Tommy Pease will take the mic for East Liverpool versus St. Clairsville. Those tip-off times are, approximate, so it'll be deciding on how fast those games go. But the event starts at 10 a.m. So Edison Ferry at 10, and then the next games will just follow 20 minutes after the conclusion of the one before it. Whew, that's a lot of basketball for the weekend.
A lot of basketball. We've split on, what is that? 8 games? So
8 games. Whew.
Gonna get wild.
Hopefully I can at least make up some ground.
You need to get at least 5. I mean, to get at least 2 on me.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I'm excited for it.
We'll see how that goes. We'll be back on Monday. Big show. We're going to have brackets for divisions 1 through 4 in girls basketball. We're going to have Stephen Mara on the show at 12:30 to talk about his commitment to Ashland. We're going to have recaps from the weekend. We're going to have picks. We're going to have new power rankings. A lot of things to come on Monday. Don't miss it from 12 to 2. Me and Ty, we're taking a 70-hour break, and we'll be back on Monday. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next, followed by the Power Hour, and then a bunch of basketball on the network tonight, starting with Liberty and Newton Falls girls basketball at 5:30. Enjoy the evening. Enjoy your weekend. And one final word, believe. Always believe. 13 seconds. You never know what will happen. Go Chiefs.